With YouTube attacking alternative media, please consider supporting the channel via Patreon for just $1 per month. Link below. Jumping over into Netflix news here. So, with the announcement of Disney's 2019 streaming service, many people have been asking what's going to happen with the Marvel Netflix series. And as I've been saying, every time it comes up, they're not doing anything. They're not leaving. They're not going anywhere because of the contract deals that Marvel has with Netflix. And the fact is, ABC Studios is the company that produces these shows, and Netflix is the ones who finance these shows, and they're super freaking popular, and they're not going anywhere. But now we have confirmation of that, saying Disney will not bring the Marvel Netflix heroes to its streaming service. Now, this ultimately could change at some point in time or another. I would argue that when it comes up for renegotiations, if Disney very much wants to, break all ties with Netflix, they may go in there and go, okay, how much do you want to let it go? And if Reed Hastings is feeling generous that day, they could let it happen. But in the meantime, it ain't going nowhere. Now, it says here, Deadline reports that the heroes of Marvel's Netflix corner of the Marvel Cinematic Universe will remain on Netflix when Disney launches its untitled streaming service in 2019. Agnes Chu, head of OTT programming platform, has been meeting with Disney's creative executives about the service. The current plan is to launch the service in the United States before expanding internationally. Disney is planning on delivering 4 or 5 original movies, as well as up to 5 original series for the service. Several Star Wars series, as well as a live-action Marvel show, have already been announced, in addition to TV's adaptations of Pixar's Monsters, Inc. and the Disney Channel's High School Musical. While R-rated content is set to land on Hulu, Marvel's Netflix series, including Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, The Defenders, and The Punisher, will stay right where they are. So that's interesting there. So let's break this down here, because this is kind of where it gets a little bit more interesting. We know that with the deal that Disney struck with Fox, that they are not only getting all the X-Men content and Fox's backlog, which is insane. They're also getting Fox's stake into Hulu. And that gives Disney the controlling stake of Hulu. And I was making commentary for a while about how they're going to take this streaming service and they're going to very much be putting that into, like, they're going to be creating they're going to be using Hulu as a portal to that streaming service. Very similar to what Showtime does right now. And I think HBO even. You can get those services through Hulu if you're unable to get them as a standalone wherever you may live. And I think that's what they're going to do to get access to the 12 million Hulu users and try to get them to, buy over into Disney. It makes perfect sense. You're able to get 2 subscriptions that way, essentially. So keeping the R-rated content off of the Disney streaming service, that's where they're going to dump all of their Fox content. That's my prediction. So anyway, it says other projects the trade reports are planning to move to the service include Don Quixote, The Lady and the Tramp, The Pauper Magician. Okay, so basically all sorts of Disney stuff. And so this is interesting too, because like I said at the beginning of the segment, you've got a situation here where it's going to boil down to how much Netflix wants to deal with Disney. Okay. Now, if Netflix keeps renewing the shows are going to continue going forward. Given the fact that Daredevil and then these shows are, like, quite literally the most, they're watched heavily watched, and they're heavily loved, and people like the characters. And we already know that they've already started talking about other spinoffs, right? Like the Punisher was meant to be a one-off. They got him. You've got Colleen Wing and Misty Knight, the Daughters of the Dragon, are reportedly going to be a thing. Iron Fist is going to be in season 2 of Luke Cage, and I'm pretty sure vice versa. They have a lot of characters that are now intertwining coming into these shows, with also expansions. So my question is, and I don't have an answer to this, but I legitimately like to know, is the Netflix characters that Marvel has access, or that they have access to, who is it? Just the characters in those worlds? Because a lot of times, I mean, like, those characters would kind of come over to the other characters in Marvel as well. So I just find this to be super interesting. Are they going to further then, because of this deal, segment or kind of segregate really the Marvel Netflix shows from the greater MCU? And we all know we want to see Daredevil in Civil War, or we want to see Daredevil in Infinity War. We want to see these characters on screen, but we're never going to get it. And now I feel with this particular deal, where it's just basically straight up saying we will never, ever get it. And the only way I could see them bringing the shows over to the the Disney side of the streaming service would be if the production companies, the production teams working on these individual shows start to just release mediocre content in order to get low ratings, low viewership, and therefore not justify their renewal through Netflix in order to get Reed Hastings to kill it. And as soon as it gets killed, then Disney comes back, repicks them up, brings everyone back up to full speed, full budgets, and then they bring it over there. That's, at this point, the only way I could see it going over there at some point. But like I said, it all really depends on how generous Reed Hastings wants to be with Disney.